Greetings, everyone. I'm Declassified Dave, 1/3 of the Hush Hush Society Conspiracy Hour podcast, and you're listening to Infinite Rabbit Hole.
Imagine, if you will, a nice warm day in the Australian outback. A gorgeous, cloudless day. You're a tourist to this land and desire a long, peaceful hike to soak in the beauty of this serene environment around you. Walking along the path, you stop to take a drink of water and rest under the shade of a large, sturdy eucalyptus tree. It's silent around you, except for the light buzzing of cicadas and the occasional call of a kookaburra. All seems right in the world, and then wham! You're slammed to the ground from above. Before you can even comprehend what has descended on you, you're slashed and mauled by an unknown beast. Long, sharp claws rip through your flesh, and your screams are suppressed by the jaws around your throat. Your death becomes the next mystery in a string of recent disappearances. The search parties look everywhere, but never think to look up. The drop bear has taken another victim. Welcome back to Infinite Rabbit Hole. Da-da-da-dum.
I cannot wait till you put music to that. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Jeez.
All right, welcome back to Infinite Rabbit Hole, guys. Before we get into this episode, we've got a few things we want to go through, but first and foremost, let's introduce our co-hosts for the night. We have Jeremy. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm good. I just got back from coaching my kids' soccer team, so I'm tired.
Nice. Kenzar, how are you doing?
Fantastic. Same old, though.
Same old, but fantastic.
Yep.
And
excited for what's coming.
oh yeah. And next up to the hot seat, we have a previous host, Andrew. Welcome back to the Infinite Rabbit Hole.
Hey. I don't know if we ever did a face reveal. Here's my face. And my
There
beard.
he is. There's
This
the
is
beard.
the beer we always talk about.
Andrew!
Yeah.
This is actually Andrew and Kenzar's first time meeting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So for those that don't know who Andrew is, there's a reason why we have him on tonight. Because way back in the day, about 6 months ago, he was a host of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Back when we had CJ as well. So basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to catch everybody up here on the Paranormal Network that we're now proudly a part of. Everybody give a clap for the Paranormal Network. We had our first episode go live last Friday, and it went well. And, very exciting stuff. So we figured, we're going to get some new people to check out the audio-only podcast where they can listen to episodes, and not see our faces. And they're going to hear some voices that they're unfamiliar with because they didn't get to meet them. So here's one of them. This is Andrew. So when you hear Andrew, this is the face you're listening to. And sooner or later, not to destroy the surprise or anything, but the other hosts that have been on the Infinite Rabbit Hole have also been notified that they will be on call soon. So basically what happened was I sent out a text to all three of them today. Basically, I copy and pasted it, and I said, send, boom. And I said, first one that reaches me back is going to come on. You guys want to guess who was first? Go ahead.
CJ.
It was CJ.
It was CJ.
It was CJ.
Was it CJ?
It was CJ.
That's
I
totally
hear it was
CJ.
CJ.
Yeah.
So CJ, and I hate to break everybody's heart, could not make it today.
My heart's broken.
He only had about an hour of availability at 8 o'clock, and I was like,
My heart is shattered to pieces.
I said, I'm gonna skip you, and he said, that's fine, as long as you get me back. And I said, don't worry, dude, I got you. Next to the plate was Andrew.
Wes.
That's right. Yes, it was Andrew. And then
Sorry, don't everybody talk at once.
I'm talking like 15 seconds later. Wes is like, "Hell yeah, dude, I'm down." I'm like, crap. I said, "You lost, man. You were
Yeah.
the last one."
Yeah,
to
go away,
reply.
loser. But come back later.
But come back later. But I have plans for all two of them, all two of them to come back. And today we get blessed with the beard, that
Yes.
magnificent mane.
It is pretty glorious.
Isn't it
Thank you.
glorious?
It's more red because of the lack of light in my room.
You're Irish too,
Wow.
aren't you?
I'm a mutt. Anywhere Vikings could have raided is pretty much my nationality.
Yes.
Nice.
So
That makes sense.
Yeah, Scottish, Irish, German, French, English, little bit of like Austrian, which I don't know how they got all the way over the mountains and everything, but
But they did it.
they
And-
found somehow.
Good for them, because you're here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
So moving on.
Without them, without their savagery and killing everybody and
Raiding,
taking everybody and all that sort of stuff,
pillaging. Yeah,
you wouldn't be here. Yeah.
it's very true.
So thank you, Vikings.
Yeah.
So let's get all the front matter out of the way so we can get right into this topic that none of us actually know about today. You know what it is because you're listening to it and you've probably seen the title, but the hosts, other than Jake, who is our presenter today, don't know what we're talking about.
I just did the intro. Of course they know. You guys know.
I know.
Okay,
Drop
now we
bears.
know.
Come on.
Yeah, drop
said
bears.
it.
Can't you?
I was
ruined that
listening.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Where is the acting? Is there any acting? Is there any
No.
like
I'm
showmanship
surprised.
at all? Oh man, it's the
Oh
drop.
my gosh, I didn't
God.
even
Okay.
know. Wow.
All right, everybody, we're talking about the drop bear today.
Oh.
Let's get the other stuff out of the way. For those that have sent in voicemails to have your voice heard at the beginning of the episode, I just want to say thank you. We've had 2 so far. That's it.
Keep them coming.
No, we've had 3. One of them is Jake.
Yes,
And I
thank
told
you. I was
Jake
the
that
first one. Thank
He
you.
was. And I was like, I'm only using yours if we come across a week where we don't have one. Gonna use
So
a host.
send in a voicemail or else it's going to be my voice on this episode.
And how do you do that?
You go to infiniterabbithole.com. There's a little icon that looks like a microphone, and you click it, and you press record, and then you can leave your contact information when you're done. It just play, record, and then stop, and then send it to us, and we'll get it immediately into our emails, and then we can listen to it and be like, oh, cool. And then we'll throw it on the next episode. It's awesome.
Literally right at the beginning. Super easy. Andrew, you hear that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
I'm actually
hear
looking
it?
at it right now.
Nice.
Mm.
So maybe Andrew will sneak that away from you. I hope he does. I really do.
Wow, that's messed up.
Do we have anything else to plug before we get into the good stuff?
Yeah, the thing.
What thing?
The thing. The
Join the
thing.
group, follow our Instagram, follow our
Yeah.
Twitter.
The big thing.
Oh, yeah. And
Oh,
then there's
big
another
thing.
thing. There's a big thing.
What, the
Yeah,
paranormal
I
network?
even know
I already
about
said
the
something
big
about
thing.
that.
Yeah, right?
I already said that.
Yeah,
Welcome to the
but-
Paranormal Network, everybody.
Yeah,
We're-
welcome.
Hey,
We're the half-assed infinite rabbit hole. How you guys doing?
big, big thing.
And we're no longer on the thing. We've lost all of our listeners.
We
Yeah.
just got booted.
Dude, I'm so
No.
stoked about it. Like,
I
I
am too.
remember, like, looking back, which, I mean, it's not too terribly long, like, just under 2 years, but sitting there thinking, like, oh my gosh, our first 100 listens, or whatever, our first 10 listens. Like, it's nuts. It's absolutely mind-blowing that we're in this position where a network wants to invest in us and our product that we're delivering. It's crazy to me. So I'm super stoked.
It is crazy. Are they crazy?
Definitely.
Nah.
Definitely. Come on,
I
Andrew.
mean, they
don't be-
took us on.
You don't have to be nice here, Andrew. You know how. No.
It's called acting.
Thank you. Somebody is doing it. Thank you. No, seriously, I can't be more happy. I can't be more thankful to the Paranormal Network for adding us and accepting us into their network, and this collaboration is just insane. It's beyond my wildest dreams for this platform, and yeah, everything's looking up, and Infinite Rabbit Hole is going to go places, and it is in part thank you to the Paranormal Network. So once again, thank you, Paranormal Network.
Yes, thank you very much.
And then
Merci.
yeah, see,
Merci.
we speak other
Merci.
languages here too. All right. Anything else? What else do we have to get?
No, I think that's all.
I put the Facebook group. If anybody's looking for the Facebook group that we're always talking about, I've been linking it in the show description. I'm not exactly sure how the Paranormal Network's dealing with our show description, but you can always go to like Spotify or anything else, find Infinite Rabbit Hole, go to the show description, and click on the Facebook link that I put in there. Join the group. It's awesome. We have a great community there. It is fantastic. We have people posting about some really cool stuff, cryptids, UFOs, aliens, scientific discoveries, all kinds of really cool stuff, and just a absolute wonderful community where people are very supportive of the show, and we get to talk to all you guys, and which has been a blast.
Oh yeah,
So,
for sure.
but I think that's it.
That's what it was.
What?
The merch.
The
We
merch.
Sorry to cut you off. Were you
No.
finished? Okay. Yeah.
Wait, no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm just
No,
kidding.
there
Go
you
ahead.
are. Okay. So,
Well, you
nope,
are
you're finished now. So, for those of you that have been asking for specific things for us to make in our store, I've been working on a lot of different designs. We're trying to put out a new line of merch. Things like your favorite cryptid wearing an Infinite Rabbit Hole t-shirt, and then say Bigfoot's favorite podcast, Nessie's favorite podcast, things like that. A bunch of joke shirts that mess around with things that Jeff has said about gravity being fake and nukes being fake and dinosaurs being fake and all that sort of stuff.
And Finland being above
yeah, right, as
Minnesota.
You can see.
Yeah.
Right.
The land of 1,000 lakes.
Yeah. Yeah, Finland. Yeah, so we're working on some new stuff. I know people have been asking for things like hats and beanies. Those are going to take a minute because we need to modify our logo so it can be turned into a patch and it can be embroidered on those hats and those different items. It's a little bit tricky because of the way that the colors work out, so that one is going to be a bit. But all those, we keep hearing those suggestions. I want to, let the listeners know that we are hearing it and we're responding and we're working on all that stuff. We'd rather just drop it all as a pack versus a, onesie twosies here and there. But yeah, so wanted to give everyone a heads up that that's all in the works, and probably within the next couple weeks to a month, we'll start releasing some good stuff and some different things that have been released for us to release to you guys. So more than just mouse pads and coffee cups and some hoodies and stuff, but tank tops, muscle tees, various types of hats, fanny packs, all kinds of stuff. Like if you guys want it, throw us in a comment in our Facebook group, send us an email, whatever, say, hey, I'd like this sort of design and this idea, and we'll crank it out and see how you guys like it. So yeah, good stuff coming through.
Yep. And for all of those that are not familiar with the Infinite Rabbit Hole and they're wondering why the hell we're just sitting here talking about ourselves for so long, you gotta remember we have had relationships before you. No, I'm just kidding. No, we do have quite the fan base that we're very, very proud of, and we're excited to have you come and join too. Eventually, you guys will get to know some of the stuff that we joke about, like that. We'll just go over that shirt that Jake's wearing right now. The Finland. Go ahead, stand up. Let me see that shirt there, Jake. You be our model. It's Finland over Minnesota. It is drawn like a elementary school kid. That's actually Jake's. Jake drew that. Good job,
Yep.
Jake. He
Thank
did.
you.
He colored it in himself too. But basically, in our Wendigo episode, there is a joke about Finland and Minnesota, and it was hilarious. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah,
yes.
That's
definitely go listen to it.
Shameless self-promotion, clickbait right there for you. Go check it out. That was Kenzar's first episode with the Infinite Rabbit Hole. She actually came on as a guest.
Yep.
Yes, I guessed it on that one.
And
But I
then
got
2
to
days
choose the topic.
and then 2
She
days
did.
later she was a host.
That's pretty much how that worked. But all right, so we're almost 15 minutes into this episode yet, and we haven't started talking about the topic. So
Okay, so I just right off the bat, what do you guys know about drop bears? What have you heard? What do you think that they are? You know, all that sort of stuff.
Let's
Kenzar,
go.
go.
No, let's
My
go with Andrew.
unders-
Andrew first. Andrew first.
Okay,
Andrew, go.
Andrew first.
Nothing.
Kenzar,
Okay,
go.
okay, Kenzar, go.
I know a lot. I don't want to ruin things.
My
Go ahead.
understanding of a drop bear is it's literally a koala that just drops out of the tree and scares the bejesus out of everybody.
Okay, wrong. Jeremy, go.
I'm pretty sure they're just evil koalas.
Wrong.
That's what I've.
Andrew.
Evil koalas, right?
That's what
It's
I've been.
it's a fictional tale that Aussies tell to scare tourists.
Wrong.
It is
Okay.
not a real thing.
Um,
It is based on a koala, but it's not. Yeah.
Andrew's also
So-
wrong. So
so
you're all
I'm
wrong,
Partially wrong.
but you're
I
all
had
right
the
at
koala
the same
thing.
time. You're all right, but you're all
Oh.
wrong. Everything you've heard about them is true, even if it contradicts itself. It's all true. So,
Nice.
okay.
Nice.
And if you're ready, we'll
So
roll right into this.
Explain. Yes.
Okay. So, right off the bat, let's talk about the description of them and where they're located. Located in the forested regions of southeast Australia and Mount Lofty ranges, and never seen near roads or cities, the Thylarctos plummetus, or drop bear, resembles a much larger version of a koala. There's Kenzar's. Except their fur is coarse and orange in color, and they can get to the size of a leopard. They have large claws and powerful arms for climbing high into trees and holding on to their victims. The drop bear lacks canine teeth, so it relies on large premolars to bite when it's attacking its prey. It's believed by some that drop bears are koala bears that have been infected with a disease like rabies. Their orange color allows them to blend into the tops of trees when looking up, so they are washed out by the sunlight breaking through the canopy above. Now, how does that change your opinion of them?
I don't want to jump too far ahead,
Mhm.
but instantly something else came to mind.
Mm.
I don't want to get too far ahead.
Does it start with a
'Cause-
W?
No,
Okay, then go ahead.
Oh.
What is it?
starts with a T.
Oh yeah, don't jump too far ahead.
Okay.
For me, you said orange in color, and I was like, excuse me, what? Like my hair color orange?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it
Like
remains
what?
to be seen.
Because this is pretty fluorescent. I mean,
We'll get into it, but
okay.
there's never been one that's been
Okay.
captured. So honestly, they could
Fair.
be purple, but someone's like, "Ooh, we should taper that down a little bit and call them orange."
Okay, sure, let's go for it.
All right.
I'm here for it.
Cool deal. Moving on. Sightings and attacks. The ambush style of attack is not unique to this creature, although it's extremely effective. Drop bears will lie in wait, high in trees, until an unsuspecting medium to large animal happens to walk under them. Dropping as far as 8 meters or 26 feet, they land full force on top of the prey, stunning it from the hit and then quickly biting and breaking the neck to finish the job. If their prey is small enough, they'll drag it up into the tree so it can feed in peace. Attacks on humans are rare, as it's normally a case of mistaken identity. Those that are unlucky enough to be mistaken for prey and get away with only bites and scratches often report seeing them starting around April 1st. Regardless of the time of the year, however, they are so elusive that there's never been a drop bear captured dead or alive. It's interesting to note that there has never been a reported attack on an Australian native, and the mistaken identity attacks only occur to tourists. It's recommended by locals that a visitor to Australia can protect themselves by speaking in their best Australian accent, saying things like "g'day" and other various buzzwords that Australians use, and wiping Vegemite, an Australian food spread made from brewer's yeast, behind their ears and putting forks in their hair so that the pointy ends face upwards. As added protection, you can smear the Vegemite all over your face if you wish. Unfortunately, though, there's never been a study done to show if any of these are actually effective drop bear repellents. I'm trying not to crack out.
Is this
This is
BS?
great.
No, this
No,
is
it's
real.
great. It's
This is
100% real.
fantastic.
Real life.
100%
I
real.
love this.
Yeah.
Let's keep going, dude. Keep going.
No, come on, man. Like,
Oh, we have to.
why
we
do you?
have to
Why would
concentrate
you think that this is fake?
now? Because that's stupid.
Why would it be
Come on.
stupid?
Okay,
That's
okay.
absolutely dumb.
What makes me think it's fake is the fact that it happens to tourists more than anything, and what's
Yeah.
going to protect you is a fake Australian accent.
Well, think of it like sharks, right? Sharks bite swimmers and surfers because they think that they're seals. So they tell you not to look as like a seal as much as you possibly can. So in this circumstance, I mean, this thing just attacks, tourists and stuff because they're probably the ones that are wandering out around in their territory and stuff. The locals know, hey, stay away from those areas. That's where the drop bears are, and the lofty mountain ranges and all sorts of stuff. And so the tourists go out there to go on these long hikes and stuff, and then the drop bears, think that they're. And the thing it said was its main food source was small kangaroos and wallabies and other various things like that. So they see a thing walking on two legs, and they just, right off the bat, this is my prey, jump down there and be like, oh, shoot. Unlike a shark that rips your arms or legs off, and they're like, ugh, gross, human, that's not a seal. This one just, mauls you a little bit, and you're just like, oh, geez, that was crazy. What do you think about that?
I mean, you're not wrong, but
That was just winging it. Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
as long as you're doing Australian stuff or you look like an Australian, you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so wear khaki shorts and Blundstones. You're golden.
That's
crocodile teeth. Get the
Oh,
crocodile
okay.
teeth,
I was just like,
yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Say things
Sure.
like, that's
You have
not a knife. Nah, it is a knife.
Yeah, get like a giant knife
No,
out or something
yeah.
like that.
You
yeah.
walk around saying, I think it's, if you say razor blades with an Australian accent, it comes out as rise up lights. Something like
Oh.
that. I can't do it. I'll
She
butcher
is
it.
not
I'm
going to
gonna
get attacked by a drop bear. You see that? That's awesome. Kenzo, you're killing it.
I'm golden. I'll be safe.
So, okay, I'll break it to you. The drop bear is fake. You got it. You nailed it.
I was gonna say, like, let's say you're down there, right, and you're
Okay.
walking with a Foster's, and you're golden, right? But if you had a Bud Light, you'd be screwed.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you were talking about putting
Mm.
shrimps on Barbies.
Yep.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
You can always invite it for a barbecue
Yeah.
or Barbie. If you said
Barbie.
barbecue, you're screwed.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if you said Barbie,
Yeah, you gotta say Barbie.
you might be all right. Okay. Yeah, BS.
Okay. So I'm glad that you thought that I was serious there. Unfortunately, since
Did not.
interactions between drop bears and humans are so rare, there has never been a verified sighting due to their shyness.
Mm.
Most visitors to Australia refuse to believe in their existence because of this. So then the question is, do they really exist? Well, yes. Sort of. Well, they did. And maybe they still do. I'd like to introduce you to the Thylacileo carnifex. There's that T word Jeremy was going to
That's
throw
the
out and
one I
ruin the
was
whole
thinking
thing.
of. I was thinking of the Thylo.
That's right.
Jeremy's little dance.
These marsupials are said by paleontologists to have died out around 46,000 years ago. They weighed up to 287 pounds, had long retractable claws, and longer curved claws on their thumbs. Their top and bottom jaws had two front protruding incisors with blade-like molars and had the most powerful bite force among all the various animals in the world, or the various mammals in the world, both then and now. Though a marsupial, the Thylacileo had a skull like that of a large predatory cat, and it's believed to have been arboreal, meaning it lived in trees. The shape of their pelvis indicated that they didn't run fast and were moderately slow, so it would have been an ambush predator. A marsupial ambush hunting tree dweller with massive claws that also lived in Australia sounds like the drop bear, or at least where the legend could have originated from. It was said to have died out due to climate change and because of early humans hunting both them and their food sources. There's also a relation of the Thylacoleo that could still be alive. It's very, very likely that this one is still alive due to being spotted, even though it was declared extinct in 1936. I mean, it's spotted very, very regularly.
They still have pictures of it too.
Yeah, this marsupial is the thylacine, or the Tasmanian tiger, and looked like a striped cat-dog thing. It had sandy-colored short fur with 15 to 20 stripes on its back. They had a long, stiff tail and short, round ears. They can be seen on black and white images and also videos, and their bodies are often found in museums. Though they were prevalent all over Australia and have traits similar to that of the drop bear lore, it would be a very hard comparison for those ones. But yeah, those things are caught on game trail cameras pretty regularly. There's entire Facebook groups for people who have seen the thylacine, and they're really trying hard to bring that one back.
Is that
So-
what the Tasmanian Devil's based off of?
No, the
Looney
Tasmanian
Tunes?
Devil's different. That one's
Oh,
more
okay.
like
Though the nickname of the thylacine is the Tasmanian tiger.
yeah, or
Yeah.
the Queensland tiger as
Mhm.
well. But if you look up both of those, and the cool thing about having a video platform now, for those people that are on YouTube, you should get over here because we can now add pictures so you can see exactly what we're looking at, so you don't have to look it up.
We should have took timestamps for Jeff. Should have. Oops.
It's all right.
We'll just take the current time and backtrack 30 seconds.
Nah, we'll let Jeff figure it out.
Yeah. This the Thylacoleo, apparently there was cave drawings of it.
Mhm.
So the early humans, or at least the humans that came to Australia, definitely had interactions with this thing. So I totally buy that they were, out hunting them or hunting them to extinction and all sorts of things. Apparently, during their die-out period was around the time of a massive climate shift, so that certainly could have had an impact. But yeah, I liked that because I mean stories are fun, right? All these fun
Mhm.
stories like drop bears and things like that. But then to find that there is an actual animal in existence, or at least that did exist, that had just it's like a mirror, right? I'm just looking at the drop bear legend. I'm looking at the Thylacoleo, and I'm like, this is the same animal. It has to be.
Okay. So you started talking about the drop bear and everything I know about the drop bear. I don't know too much about the drop bear. It's one of the fringe cryptids. It's not too well known. All I've ever known is that it's a rabid koala, pissed off koala, pretty much. It's in the koala family. It's just not nice. It is an ambush hunter. It drops down and it kills. And it's also a carnivore.
Mhm.
Then you start talking about, up to 200 pounds, massive jaws.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay. Because originally, thinking when you said there was another creature, and the only thing I'm thinking about was the thylacine. I was like, well, thylacine, I don't know if thylacine ever went in trees. I don't think it did. It's definitely not 200 pounds. Things like a Labrador size.
Yeah.
And it's skinny.
Mhm.
Then you start talking about orange. Hold up. You said something else. I was like, that sounds like a Thylacoleo.
Yeah. Now,
And
I don't know if the orange has anything to do with it, because if this thing supposedly was extinct, who knows if it actually was orange. But
well, that is so. There's pelts.
So
Go ahead.
I'm looking at pictures of this thing, and yeah, it's like a very autumn orange kind of color, like the color of that leaves would turn when it's getting cold and drying up. And yeah, it definitely would blend in. It's kind of cute, but also terrifying. It's got like the cute little ears of a koala bear and like the face
Mhm.
shape, but then it's got these massive beaver buck teeth and two huge fangs. Like, I wouldn't want to cross paths with that thing.
I think you're
Not
right.
to mention its claws.
I think
Mhm.
this is your drop bear.
You see those big old giant thumb claws that it's got there?
Yeah,
massive.
Yeah, I thought that it was very interesting that it was a carnivore, but had the combined molars similar to what we see in a lot of herbivores. But apparently they came to really sharp points. So it's just like it was described in some of the articles as bolt cutter like teeth, where it could just destroy stuff, just go right through the bone, just snap.
Like beaver's teeth.
Right. And that the reason why they
Exactly like
think
beaver's teeth.
right, and that the reason why they think that it was more of a meat eater uh versus a herbivore was because of those teeth. Obviously, well, they didn't have any grinding type teeth. So if they did eat vegetation, they would have to swallow it whole because they wouldn't be able to smash it up in the same way we do, right? We have our canine teeth, we have our incisors up in front, and then we have our molars in the back. And that's, we can bite and then grind and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they would have had to have taken like chunks out of stuff and swallowed it whole because there would have been no way for them to grind up their vegetation. And I suppose that could go both ways, but they lean more towards that it was certainly a carnivore and an ambush predator because of the pelvis shape and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, reading through those things, and I was like, that's the drop bear. So and I did some research to try to find out where the name drop bear came from. I saw one source that said that it was based off of an Aboriginal name. And I was like, okay, so if this is based off of an Aboriginal name, then why couldn't have this story of this monster gone through, you know, thousands of years of oral tradition to then become the legend of the drop bear we know today? I know that it's a pretty long span of that, but that's pretty much as good as we got. Or is it? Da 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 dum.
Oh, hold on. Before you keep going,
Mhm.
Andrew, do you have an opinion on whether the philo could be the drop
It could, because that's the one thing about like all these uh, creatures. I always felt like the cryptids. It has like a strong basis of a creature or creatures like put together. And this is like almost like spot on. I know. I'd like to see if it did it live in Australia? Like, was that its
Yes.
general area? Okay.
Yep.
And was it like other places too? Because I know there was like
No.
a okay. So it wasn't in like the Philippines or any other the New Zealand or anything else like that was close to.
I
As
mean,
far as I know, New Zealand had no natural animals at all. New Zealand is all invasive species.
For where okay.
For how long, I
Because
don't know though. It
yeah,
could have
because I
been like a
feel
prehistoric thing.
if you think Pangea was a thing, right? All
mhm.
the worlds were together, separating, and a lot of these like species, they kind of evolved or grew to the area that they were in, right? So Australia being as hot and desert as it is, I don't know how many like trees are down there. Like, do they have a lot? Like, is there like? I feel like there's more desert climate than there would be like forests, like big trees going up or something like that.
Well, Australia is certainly huge, and a
Yeah,
fair amount of it is that sort of desert climate, but they do have mountain ranges and big
right.
forests and stuff. So, I mean, it's not too far fetched. Say, like, they wouldn't be able to be everywhere, but
Yeah,
certainly there's enough territory for them to be at. And I believe they're also on Kangaroo Island, which is south of Australia, so like just underneath it.
and you
Um,
mentioned earlier that there was the climate change,
mhm,
be like the whole reason why they pretty much died out. Because I
could
know
be.
that's the desert creep is a definitely thing. Like desert eating away at its borders and making the desert bigger and bigger.
Fair point for sure.
But yeah, I apologize. Side tangent. Yes, I do think that this is probably the closest thing to like an actual drop bear.
I'm thinking of it from like the point of view of a tourist, right? Because you said tourists are the ones that get screwed up all the time.
Yeah.
And excuse me. So legends, the Aboriginals have to basically create the legend, right? They have to know that these exist or that they have existed in at some point. So I don't know. There's a lot. I think that the Thylacleo definitely is the best candidate to be the actual drop bear. I just can't get over the whole Vegemite and the forks and stuff. That's so dumb.
That's just because you're a non-believer. Shun the non-believer. Shun.
It's not shun. It's not that I'm a non-believer. I definitely think that there could be a small population of Thylacleo left. I highly doubt it. I think that thylacine, absolutely. There's definitely thylacines or Tasmanian tigers still out there.
Mhm.
Like you said, they're getting caught on trail cams. For those that don't know, by the way, side note, that the ivory-billed woodpecker has been officially taken off of the extinction list, which is
Nice.
really cool.
I saw that.
That is really cool. And if I had to put my money down on the next species to be taken off the extinct list, it would be the thylacine. I think that we're very close to finding them. We do have a couple of groups that are actively searching for these things, and I think that that's going to happen within our lifetime. We're gonna get live specimens of not thylacine, not Thylacleo, thylacines for sure. I think that we're close.
No.
You're smiling, Jacob.
Well, yeah, because you just, just breaking into all my content that I'm gonna put
Oh,
out.
jeez. Okay.
No,
All right.
I left the thylacine out. I left the thylacine out of this besides just the brief description because it didn't really fit in with the drop bear lore. Although I do agree with you that it is probably one of the best examples of, and the you said it was the woodpecker,
The
like
ivory-billed woodpecker, yeah.
the best examples of cryptozoology at work, right?
Mhm.
And I'll go into that a little bit in my next point. But yeah, I left that one out. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of different animals out there that have been extinct or have been said to be extinct that keep being seen a lot. And that is absolutely part of cryptozoology is well, I could get into it and talk about it in my next thing, the definition of cryptozoology.
Yeah, good. It's not all about searching for Dogman and Bigfoot. It's
No,
you know,
no, for sure.
not saying that Bigfoot doesn't exist. Bigfoot exists. If you're listening to this and you don't know my stance on Bigfoot, Bigfoot exists. It's not a mystery to me. But it's not all, look for Dogman, Mothman, and the Jersey Devil,
It's most of
and
it.
various other legendary cryptids. There's also the extinct ones and the ones that are much more probable of existing or have existed at some point.
The silverback was one.
The silverback was a cryptid, and so was the
Yeah.
panda bear.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot. The list is. We should do an episode on that one time. Just highlighting the successes of cryptozoology in general. It would be a very good episode to do, just to shine a light on the good work that is being done out there, and the reason why people are out there still searching for things such as Bigfoot and the thylacine. That would be cool. Let us know in the Facebook group if you guys want us to do an episode on that. I would love to do it. Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Go ahead, Jake. Take it.
Thylacoleo sightings. So let me just throw this out there. There is a lot of Thylacoleo sightings. There's way more thylacine sightings. There's a mix-up on the internet. If you look up Queensland tiger amongst people that think that the thylacine is the Queensland tiger, is the not official name of it, right? The nickname of it. And people that think that the Thylacoleo is the Queensland tiger. So if you look up that and you look up Queensland tiger sightings, you're going to get a mix up of both. But just keep in mind what they look like as two separate animals when you're reading the descriptions and stuff. But these ones I specifically went for Thylacoleo sightings, people that said this was this is what I know I was looking at. All right. There have been way more than a few sightings of the Thylacoleo over the last century, and I believe that it truly belongs to be classified as a cryptid. For those that don't remember, cryptozoology isn't just the study of animals believed to exist whose existence is unsubstantiated, like Bigfoot, Bing, but also the study of animals that are believed to be extinct and may still be alive. But for us to really explore sightings of the Thylacoleo, we have to speak about another cryptid. And now the fun part. Have you ever heard of the warrigal? Any of you?
No.
I
Oh.
want to say no.
The warrigal. How do you spell that?
Yeah.
Warrigal.
Gal.
Mm-hmm.
Carry on.
Well, it's an Australian cryptid. The warrigal is a lion-like animal that is believed to live in the Australian Blue Mountains, and it's said to be up to 7 feet long and 3 feet tall, with light or dark brown fur, sometimes seen with a mane like African lions. Also, some accounts tell of long saber-tooth-like teeth and cat-like paw prints that are up to 5 inches across. In Rex Gilroy's book, Giant Mystery Cats of Australia, Gilroy makes a parallel between the two and suggests that the warrigal could very well be a surviving Thylacoleo. Though mostly spotted by campers and hunters, first-hand accounts of these creatures are in no short supply. So, drop bear lore based off of a Thylacoleo, but people talk about seeing this new cryptid called a warrigal. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not. But they talk about this thing, but coincidentally, it has the same traits as a Thylacoleo. It's like a weird circle.
So I'm seeing some of these pictures have like saber teeth.
Yeah.
Like the extended canines,
Mm-hmm.
like a saber-tooth tiger. Is this in the book I told you to get?
Yes, but very slightly.
So if anybody's looking for a good book, just actually a series of 2, it's basically an encyclopedia of cryptozoology. It's called Mysterious Creatures: A Guide to Cryptozoology by George M. Eberhardt. The books are fantastic, and I have never went to that book looking for a cryptid and didn't find at least something. So that's interesting. I'm gonna have to look at it. But you said there's not much. Sometimes there's not too much on there.
No, just a few references to different books where they have it in there.
And that's where that book really shines. It is an amazing set of books. They're a little expensive. I think they're like $25 a piece, but you get a lot of content.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of content. And when you go to something, and even if there isn't a lot of information on it, you can go to the references, and there's your content.
Right.
So it may, I mean, if they put chapters worth of content of every creature that's in there, the series would be 50 books long. But definitely anybody listening to this that really wants a really good reference book, get that series. Sorry, side note.
No, you're good. So, there's a few accounts that I placed in my report, but rest assured there are way more than I could list on here that have occurred over the last few centuries. These are accounts of, sightings. So in July 2007, a woman from New South Wales described a sighting she had on her friend's property when she came across a large black marsupial predator. I'll note her account of the appearance, but the rest can be found at wherelightmeetsdark.com, and we will definitely link it in the show description. Quote, "This is going to sound weird, I know. I've never seen anything like it, and I thought I knew my animals, being an Aussie country girl. I saw in broad daylight right in front of me, as it was against the light tan of the sand/dirt track with no vegetation to obscure anything. I could see so clearly, even down to its feet and longish toes. It's burned into my brain. He or she was big, very big. Too big, actually. Estimate of weight. 2 friends had bull mastiffs. This was bigger than either of those 2 dogs. I asked my mates what their bull mastiffs weigh. They say about 50 and 60 kilograms respectively for both the male and the female. So I would say around 70 to 80 kilograms. And I added this for our American listeners, at most 176 pounds in weight. Length and height. Once again, comparing to the bull mastiffs, they have to be 7 centimeters at the shoulder, or 27 inches. Hindquarters seem slightly lower at 60 to 65 centimeters, 23 to 25 inches, but that may have been the way it held its body. Length, can't put a measurement to it, but quite long-bodied. Height and length ratio, as one of the big cats, long-bodied and pretty supple. The color, all black with a white flash, possibly starting under the jaw, but definitely down the throat and onto the chest. Got wider on the chest, splayed out towards the shoulder fronts. Similar to the Tasmanian devil's marks, actually, but not as wide across the chest as the devil. Saw no other spots, stripes, leg markings, and no color on the body. Beautiful black fur, so shiny. I wish I could have touched it. Probably the last thing I would have touched on this earth, I guess. Short fur, looked coarse and thick, but ever so shiny. It was in magnificent condition as far as I could tell. Build, very heavily muscled. This animal oozed strength. It had large, powerful shoulders and big, wide, muscled chest. Body was quite long, but tapered off down to a slightly smaller hindquarters for an animal this size. Continuing on to the head, broad, massive skull, big muscles down to the cheeks and jaws, very big cat-like muzzle. Nose was a bit bigger than a cat-type nose, and black and shiny. Eyes, tawny brown color, not 100% sure. Eyes set just like a cat up to the front with a heavy brow above them. Very penetrating, intelligent eyes. Medium-length whiskers. Cat-like lips. Ears quite short and pointed and set on the head like a cat. Thicker than cat ears, though. Teeth were weird. Not like a cat. More like marsupial-type teeth in front. Big ones in the front. Not off to the side where you expect canines to be. Seemed to be a gap up the side of the jaw where canines would normally be, and then more big, thick teeth around the back. Big, solid molars. Could crunch through anything it wanted to, I would think. She goes on to describe much more, including location and events surrounding the encounter, but I think we can all agree that she got a really good look at this thing, and I encourage the listeners to follow the link and give it a read.
Too good of a look. I mean, that's a good look. I mean, if you're able to see the back of its mouth, I mean, I don't know if the thylo is known to open its mouth as far as its cousin, the thylacine. The thylacine, it looks like when this thing opens its mouth up, it looks like you can throw a volleyball into its mouth and still have room.
It was wasn't it like almost a complete 90 degree? Not quite, but almost.
Pretty, if not pretty dang close.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if the thylo was able to do it too.
Well, I don't want to.
That's quite a jaw span. Like, wow.
I don't want to misquote this article. I don't have it open in front of me right now, but this was midway through the article. She had paragraphs and paragraphs or pages and pages of this is where we were at, this is the events of the day, everything that was going on. And then she had the encounter, which was this thing walked out in front of their vehicle that they were driving, right in front of them, turned around and snarled at them and opened up its mouth to expose its teeth and stuff, which is right there. And
which is something that the thylacine would do.
Well,
but the thylacine didn't have. Go ahead, Andrew.
Bipedal, like you walking on 2 legs or 4? Or...
No, walking on 4 legs.
Okay. And I apologize. Just want to kind of throw this in. The way that she was describing it to me kind of sounded like a love novel. So that's why I kind of giggled to myself.
I saw that.
Sort of embellished a little bit.
Yeah, it's just like,
I don't know.
So getting a closer look because she wanted to give it a kiss, I guess.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know. Yeah.
She was
It's
talking
just
about
so
the
I'm
cute.
sorry.
She just wanted to grab its little cheeks and be like,
yeah,
"You
the
okay?"
You know,
super shiny fur. She just wanted to touch it.
she just wanted to rub it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
I
wanted to
agree
get
with
a
it.
taste of those back molars.
Like that's what she was thinking. Oh, crush me, big boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
I wanna smell your breath so I can know what you're eating. Yeah. I
This
hope you're
Fairies,
eating me
carcasses. Yeah.
Eat my
Yeah,
face off,
please.
big boy.
That's funny.
Please.
Oh,
Crush me under
too
your weight
funny.
and maul me. Yeah.
If I had a nickel every time, man,
I'd have one nickel.
I'd have 0 nickels. Yeah.
I'd have one nickel.
Nice.
Married
You're
to her
getting
now.
places.
Yeah.
But oh man.
Hey everybody, bear with us while we take this quick break.
I'm curious about the ability of the jaw to open on the Thylacoleo because the teeth, obviously, like what you were saying, how the teeth setup was, that screams Thylo. But if she's getting a really good look at the back, like the back teeth, that is textbook thylacine. Like they would just do it. You know, that it seemed like every video or every picture that exists of the thylacine, they're either yawning or just being like, yo, look at my mouth.
Well, maybe they had more similar traits because we know what the thylacine did because there's videos of the thylacine doing that. There's black and white videos, there's images, there's, bodies in museums. Like, we know how they acted. We had them in zoos and cages, all kinds of stuff. But maybe the Thylacoleo could do the same thing because they are part of the same animal group, right? Maybe they
Right.
could do the exact same thing, but the Aborigine people or Aboriginal people that saw them all the time didn't take a bunch of notes in their oral history of like, and then they would yawn so wide we could throw a football into their throat. Like they just, because maybe they did the exact same thing. Maybe they had a jaw like that. Maybe that's how they were able to wrap that jaw around the throats of their victims and their prey, was to be able to open it up like that and then just crush that thing down on them.
So I was watching something a long time ago on the Thylacoleo.
Mhm.
I can't even begin to tell you where I saw it, so I can't even quote it or reference it correctly. But it was some scientific deep dive into the Thylacoleo, and they said that they were an ambush predator, so
Mhm.
they would jump off of like rocks, low hanging tree branches, cliffs, that kind of stuff, grab onto you by your throat and literally shred you to pieces with their hind legs. Like I guess
Hmm.
they were known for having like these big raptor claws on their
Mhm.
front paws, and on their back ones they had like 5 of them, and they would just literally shred you to pieces. Like
Hmm.
they'd have you by your throat and just
Yeah.
and your insides would become outsides.
Yeah.
Well, don't kangaroos attack that way too?
Kangaroos are
With
punks.
their hind legs, like and ripping it open.
I don't know. I saw. So we've been talking about kangaroos a lot lately. So I watched
kangaroos.
I watched a video of a kangaroo putting a dog in a headlock. Some
I saw
dude
that one.
came up and just I was
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
"Yay!"
Sock them.
That kangaroo was like, "Did that dude just hit me?"
They're jack, man.
They are.
They don't weigh lift, but they got those muscles, like those arms.
Right? You would think that they
Yeah.
jump with their arms.
Yeah, exactly.
Andrew, I think that you're right. I do recall hearing something about when they lean back onto their tails and then they kick
Yeah.
out with their
Yeah.
feet, but their feet have really long, sharp claws, similar to their paws, like the front paws have these crazy long claws. And so they have the ability to just rip your guts open when they do that because they kick out at you with such force and those claws just dig in and rip. So
It's
yeah,
another marsupial.
it would make sense, right?
I wonder
And they
if opossums.
They had big tails too, like they would be able to lean back on, right? Or no? I didn't actually look a picture up of the the guy we were talking about.
The Thylacoleo?
Thylacoleo,
I
yes.
don't
Yeah.
know. But if it's
Their
if it's
tails look kind of weak in
Well,
comparison.
so
Like it looks like a cat tail, which is kind of cat tails are just full of nerve endings.
Yeah.
So
well,
it kind of, yeah, I don't know.
it looks like that, but then there's other articles that I found, like National Geographic type stuff, saying that some paleontologists believe that their tails were much thicker than people portray them as, and that they probably could have used them similarly to kangaroos, but obviously not running around on their hind legs, but using it as a support or something like that.
See, I'm looking at a picture of a skeleton of one of them, and it doesn't have the tail. That's the only thing missing on this skeleton is the tail. And there's pictures of different skeletons, but they're all pretty much the same skeleton in the same position and everything. And every single one of these is missing the tail. So it makes me wish that the skeleton had the tail just so we could look at it closer and get maybe a better idea of it. But I'm just basing my opinion off of these couple drawings, artist drawings of what the skeleton potentially could be with the tail, what it could have looked like with its tail. And it looks like a pretty weak tail to me.
Weak, pathetic tail.
Yeah.
So in the description that she said something about it tapering off towards the back end, right?
Yes. Which
that again sounds like a thylacine. So if you look at a picture of a thylacine, sorry for this graphic imagery here, but by its butthole, it looks like it's enlarged, and it would give that look, where it starts off large, and then as the ribs collapsed into its pelvic area, it would thin out, and then past the legs, it would go from a bulge, not like a cat or a dog where it just the legs and then there's tail, but it seems like the body continues past the legs into the tail. You know what I'm talking about? We'd have to put a picture up.
Yeah.
You're saying this thing has a booty?
Booty. Yeah.
He's saying booty.
A butthole, at least. I don't know about a booty.
Oh, okay. So not like not orangutan, but the
not
red butt monkeys. Yeah.
The baboons.
Not like that.
Baboons, yeah.
Baboons, thank you.
I put a note for the time so that Jeff can throw in a picture of a thylacine butthole for all the listeners. So, thanks, Jeremy. We'll be sure to just
right next to it.
I'm just happy that Jeffrey's the one that's got to look up a thylacine butthole
and put that up there.
He's gonna have a great time.
All right, this romanticizing the incident, talking about its butthole. Just man, what a great episode!
Your thumbnail.
What a great episode you turned this into, Jeremy. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
There he goes again.
There he goes again.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong about the tail. I'm looking at a taxidermy one, and it looks like it's got quite a thick tail on its hind end.
Would you say thick with two C's?
I don't know how much damage that thing would do, but
is there a picture of its butthole? Because
it looks short. No buttholes. Okay. I'm not looking at buttholes here.
You guys are great.
All right.
It's a short tail though, so I don't know how much damage that would really do.
I'm trying to be scientific.
Well, I don't know, like damage wise, but like using it like a kickstand to lean back on. I don't know.
Right.
Might be able to do that. It's kind of like a kangaroo tail. It's got a really thick base to it and then tapers off at the end. So I stand corrected about the tail.
There we go. You ready for the second sighting?
Yes.
Bring it on.
Don't worry. I'll let us have 15 minutes of conversation after this one too. In the mid-2000s, residents of the town of Tumblegum in New South Wales claimed to have seen the marsupial lion and claimed it was feeding on the wildlife in the area. The description given was just like a thylacoleo, lion size with short marsupial legs that made it waddle while it was walking, a wombat-like nose, large protruding front incisors on the top and bottom, and brindle-colored fur. So that is more like a Thylacoleo, especially with the brindle coloring. I hadn't seen the pelt that was actually orange um, in any of the pictures or anything that I looked at, but if you did, then it having this brindle-colored fur, which I don't know if I'm saying something that people don't understand what that is. Basically, it's like tan or orange colored fur with black stripes running through it, like you'd see a brindle pit bull. It's that coloring that they have. Um,
See, and just out of plain ignorance, I would have called that calico. I didn't know that brindle coloring was a thing, so I would have called that calico coloring.
mm,
Personally, Scott,
well,
because like calicos is more spotted, but
man,
it's got like the black and the orange
I ran
throughout
up
it.
on a lot of sightings where they were like, it was calico colored. I was like, these idiots don't know what they're talking about, and I threw them out.
That there
So
you go.
yeah,
There
Really?
you go.
no, no,
Oh, I was
I
gonna
had
say.
no idea that brindle coloring was a thing, so I totally would have
Yeah.
called this like calico pattern, calico coloring.
Well, that's a calico dog. You're a cat person, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, this is called a marsupial lion, so kind of not a cat
Yeah.
at all, but kind of,
But it's called a lion.
Lions go meow.
No, they don't.
No, lions go
No,
roar.
you're right. Lions go roar. It's cheetahs that meow. I think it's the cheetahs that meow. Maybe it's the leopards.
All right, we're gonna
Anyway.
go down a different
Anyways.
route.
Moving along. And finally, reported by the Sydney Morning Herald in 2003, a successful 2001 FOIA request to the New South Wales government came back positive that they're aware of and maintaining a secret file on some kind of black cat colony that resided on the outskirts of Sydney and beyond and could pose a serious threat to people. The unnamed outside source for this article stated, while we still haven't got conclusive evidence that the creature exists, compiled evidence points strongly to the fact that it does. If and when an expert is commissioned, the first aim would be to identify exactly what sort of animal it is. The second would be to ascertain how many there might be. Dr. Joannes Bauer, a big cat expert who was assigned to evaluate this problem, concluded, difficult as it may seem to accept, the most likely explanation of the evidence is the presence of a large feline predator. So that one was interesting. And I know I kind of did a very brief, like, oh, what's the warrigal sort of a thing. But when I was looking into the warrigal or the Thylacoleo, I kept seeing warrigal, warrigal, warrigal. And then I looked it up, and the attributes of it sounded just like a Thylacoleo. So that's where I made that sort of comparison between the two. That maybe people that say I saw a warrigal, which is a cryptid and over there, or some sort of like another type of folklore, is the same thing as a Thylacoleo, same thing as the drop bear is based on a Thylacoleo, and then these random black cats and stuff. The best explanation that was given was, oh, they could have been escaped from some kind of, whatever, escaped from the zoo or anything like that. And even zoos that were called and saying, hey, have you ever had any animals, any large predatory cats escape from your zoos? They're like, no. And even if we did, we wouldn't tell you. We wouldn't comment on that. So it's just like, yeah, that could be a lie. That could say no, or it could be a no. It could be a yes. I don't really know. But it would make me wonder if I believe in, you know, not macro evolution, but micro evolution, adaptation, that sort of stuff, right? How difficult would it be for the same marsupial lion, the Thylacoleo, to change its coloring from orange to black, or have some of them maybe a sort of mutation in it that turns them into the black coloring or whatever. Like, I have to look at just like my dogs, right? I have a red lab. The red lab came from the yellow labs when there was a mutation where they started coming out with orange fur. And after a while of that continued trait, they became their own separate type of labs. So why couldn't it be that, here's a Thylacoleo, they're orange, they got these black stripes, they're brindle colored, whatever. Why couldn't there have been an offshoot of them where they are turning black or something like that? And then people are seeing this, or maybe it's dark brown, right? It's not even a crazy huge difference. It's just a darker orange, or it's brown, or it's tan, or something like that. And these people are seeing it and they're thinking, oh, it's something completely different. And then they're talking, they're getting a FOIA request from the government of that area. And they're like, yes, we do know of a large colony of these, quote unquote black cats that live in this area. And they may pose a serious threat to the population. So that's where my mind was going when I was looking into all this sort of stuff and like, trying to make those connections and everything. What do you guys think?
So, melanistic animals,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's this big theory that there are these black mountain lions in various parts of the world, but I'm just going to use the Appalachian Mountains as an example because that's a very
Right.
commonplace.
This is what came to my mind too.
And there's this huge debate between, cryptozoology and science, where biology says there are no melanistic mountain lions,
Mm-hmm.
but there's melanistic every other feline in the world.
Right.
Tigers. You ever seen a melanistic tiger?
Yeah.
Like
They're
Bengal
crazy
tiger?
looking.
Beautiful animal.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely gorgeous. Basically, for anybody who doesn't know what melanistic means, all black.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. Okay. So there are people that come out and say that they've seen an all black mountain lion or some sort of all black panther throughout the Appalachian Mountains. And science and biology says, no, you're stupid. There's no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there is any record of melanistic marsupials or marsupials, whatever you call
Right.
them. I don't know. I just did a quick search, Google search on the images. Obviously, Google lies all the time. I
Yeah.
had to get something on here for Jeff, just so he's accounted for. I didn't really find anything. I mean, for the most part, there's already black wombats and stuff like that. So I didn't find anything where it was truly melanistic, like the Tasmanian tiger or the Tasmanian devil.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. But as far as I know, like the Tasmanian devil is black already. It's not like
Right.
it's not like an offshoot of the creature. The creature is already black. I know that they have some white spots on their chest, and I guess there's some all black ones that could be technically considered melanistic. But this melanistic trait, I wonder if this is genetic, and there could be some form of melanistic family,
Mm-hmm.
that have been inbreeding and such, and they're just getting an all melanistic. Well, one, I don't even know how, like, there's no natural felines out there, is there, in Australia?
I don't believe so, no.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, uh, I like where you're going with that. And, you know, y- I get it, right? The crazy, super fantastical, sighting, the very first one, right? And this, like,
Mhm.
sort of romanticizing the experience and stuff. But just her, oh, it had a wombat like nose. It had, those big old beaver type front teeth. And it was black. Like, that's where I made that connection of, do you think that there could be, this, like you're saying, melanistic offshoot in coloring and stuff? I
Yeah,
don't know.
because I mean, if they're looking at it and they're seeing like a black thylacoleo or
Mhm,
thylacine, it could look like a black panther,
mhm,
right? From distance, you're looking at it and you're like, that could be a cat. Because let's be honest, like if you look at a thylacine, it looks like a mixture between a dingo and a coyote,
yeah,
right? And then if you look at a thylacoleo, you're like, that's a cat bear,
yeah,
right? It looks like a cat bear. But neither of them are feline or canine at all. They're marsupials.
Mm-hmm.
So looking out from a distance, it would be, how good is the evidence that the government has? I would love to see this this paperwork that they got from the FOIA request. For those that are unaware, I know that within this community, there's probably a lot of people that know what FOIA is. For anybody who doesn't, FOIA is the Freedom of Information Act. Here in America, I don't know how it is in Australia, but I know various countries have their own versions of FOIA where you can request something through FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, and they have to provide it to you under certain circumstances. So I know, like, if you're a published author, they have to give it to you. They can deny it under certain things like national security and stuff like that. But I know, like, the missing 411 stuff, there is a lot of FOIA requests out there that they are not giving information to, even to published authors. I don't know what Australia does for their FOIA requests. I'd have to look that up. But if they did do a FOIA request and it's anything like the one here in America, it should be public knowledge now. Like, we should be able to go and look it up. And that's where we would have Jeff go and be
Right.
like, Jeff, go look this up. And Jeff would be like, yo. And then you come back 5 minutes later after doing whatever the hell Jeff does, and he would present it, because that's what he does. That's like why we have Jeff here. And
Yeah,
he's also beautiful.
yeah. The Sydney Morning Herald was pretty vague on it, and so I did a search to try to see if I could actually find it, and I couldn't. But in the time that the listeners are going to hear us talking about this to when it's actually released, if we can find it, I'll link it inside of the resource list so
Hell,
that you
we'll
guys
post that
can
on the
look into
Facebook
it.
page. We'll post that on
Oh,
the Facebook page, yeah.
yeah.
For
Come
sure.
on over to the Facebook page.
Yeah, that kind of thing. FOIA requests, if we can get our hands on that, which we will definitely put Jeff on it. We'll put that in Facebook for sure.
Okay. So the color thing, coming back to that,
Mm-hmm.
brown is actually just a darker shade of orange. If you keep layering orange on top of itself, you're eventually going to end up with brown. So it would make sense if it change, like if there was a color change somewhere in there. It's already on that path anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't it? Right?
For sure. And the other thing that I don't know if this is, I doubt that this is popular amongst marsupials, but some animals do change their colors depending on the season that they're in, and also as they mature. So who's to say that the pelts that are available of the Thylacoleo weren't from juvenile ones whose colors changed to darker as they matured, or in a seasonal switch or something like that. I know that's kind of a reach, but that's where my mind goes with this, because
Possible though.
I'm trying to make that comparison or that connection between the two. Unless this wargal or this thing that these people are seeing is just another type of marsupial that's just less known, right? But I don't know, it's hard to say.
I don't think it's too much of a reach. I mean, I don't know much about marsupials at all. But if
Mm-hmm.
we talk about, like, deer, like yearlings and the youngins, they're spotted, and then
Mm-hmm.
as they grow, they eventually just become beige. The spots completely go away. I mean,
Right.
then you look at things just as chickens. Some chicks are born yellow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they grow up to be, I don't know, whatever chicken.
Mm-hmm.
So
Brown,
it's
yeah.
not
Whatever.
unrealistic, right? I just don't know how common it is in marsupials. No
Right.
idea.
I honestly don't think it's too far of a reach because look at a hare. It changes colors with seasons to blend in with the grass in summer and
But how many different seasons are you actually
snow in
getting in
winter.
Australia, though?
That's a fair
The
point.
snowshoe hare.
Got to remember we're talking about
Specific
Australia.
locations, yeah.
You got summer, and then second summer, and third summer.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not
exactly.
like up here in Canada where it's winter 10 months out of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Winter, second winter, and third winter.
the snowshoe snowshoe shares, snowshoe hares, the tongue twister. That's not even a tongue twister. Snowshoe hares, like they live in a location where, like in Canada, where it's cold a lot and it's also not cold a lot. So they need to be brown or gray during parts of the year, and then when they need to blend in with snow, they're white. I don't think that's a situation for the Thylus Caleo or the thylacine. I just don't see that being a thing. But as like the age thing, that's probably more realistic than the seasonal thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
you'd also have to look into other creatures down there and see if anything else does that seasonally, which I doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to throw it out there like that because we want to think that marsupials all kind of act the same, but all a marsupial is just an animal with a pouch that a baby matures up into. And I mean, possums are marsupials, and they
Mhm.
look nothing like kangaroos.
What are you talking about, dude? Exactly the same.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially all those kangaroos that like use their
Totally
tails to
identical.
like hang up in trees and stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
and go through your trash cans. But it's just like so it's in the same animal class, I guess. Is that what that would be described as? I think, but it's
Family, kingdom, phylum, class, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species.
so which one?
Family,
Yep.
family, yeah.
Okay, so but clearly they're wildly different in appearance. So I don't know. It's just one of those things I'm kind of just bouncing around. Yeah.
Interesting. Good stuff, dude. Is that it? That's
Now,
all you got?
no, there's more.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now this is probably gonna be uh Jeremy's line of expertise right here. What do you all know of the Yowie?
I know things about the Yowie.
Dude, throw them out there. What do you know about the Yowie?
I know of the Yowie.
Should I? Or
Yeah.
I don't want to take your thunder.
No. Like for real.
It's an Australian Bigfoot. We'll just stick with that.
Okay. Do you know of the connection between the Yowie and the drop bear?
Absolutely not. No.
No?
I actually think I came across something connecting these two on Facebook not too long ago. I didn't read it because I didn't care
Oh.
at the time, but I swear I saw something that put those two words in the same sentence. Drop bear and Yowie.
I mean, it could have been that, they're both cryptids.
Possibly.
And both from
Possibly.
Australia.
But I swear I saw it all in the same post.
What do you think, Andrew?
There's got to be, if you're saying there's a connection, there's probably some type of relationship where it's like clownfish and where they live, right? Do they like?
Well, I mean, they're both Australian,
Well, I was gonna say like
Clownfish and sharks because they both live in the ocean.
I know I can't remember what their homes are called right now for some reason.
Anemones?
Yeah.
Sea anemones?
So like and then there's like an actual scientific word for that, like something
With the reef,
that
the Great Barrier Reef.
no, like the
Form of parasitism?
Symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, symbiosis or something like
Mhm.
that. Because I know I read something about Bigfoot and Chupacabra having something similar to that in Virginia, where the Bigfoot would beat up the person and then the Chupacabra would come in and suck the blood of whatever's left over.
Mm.
So I'm assuming something like,
Teamwork.
yeah, I'm assuming something similar, but I don't want to steal your thunder. I want to hear what the teamwork is for those two guys.
Hold on. I never heard that before, Andrew. We'll just start with that. But this is exactly how this is going to go. I'm going to predict what Jake's going to say. Okay? I'm Jake. And my best friend is Jeremy, and he knows me. Jake's
Why are you
going to
trying to
say,
steal my thunder right now?
Jake is going to say, there's absolutely no connection between the two. All that buildup, and he's going to be like, well, there's nothing.
Wow. That's messed up.
It's true.
So the
I'm gonna
reason
laugh
why
so hard if that actually happens.
So the reason why you guys haven't heard anything about the connection between the Yowie and the drop bear is because there isn't one. Anyway, literally, I said that's because there isn't
I
one.
love
Anyway,
it. ...
Really?
Yeah.
Who knows?
That was the best.
Way to ruin a joke. The guy that throws out the punchline before the joke's even finished. Anyway,
Literally stole your thunder.
I know, right?
I just
what a guy.
Went so badly
well.
commandeer the episode.
What a guy.
I mean, hey, if you'd found
Wow.
if you'd found a crossover between the two, you would have just taught us all something. All right, let's go to final thoughts.
Hold on.
Anyway, moving on.
I want to give Andrew a chance to do the old Andrew thing. So, a little background on Andrew is I actually found Andrew and CJ and Ninja Chris through their old podcast, Cryptid Technical, where they did a podcast on nothing but cryptids and folklore and creatures of everything. I mean, it was a fantastic podcast. I loved it. It was a acquired taste.
Yeah.
But I acquired that taste.
Comedy-esque.
Yeah, it was fun, right? And in a very nerdy kind of way. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I'm very sad that they quit. I hope that some point down the road they can start it back up because I miss listening to them. They got into like this flow where it's just like, man, these guys, I need to know how, what the next creature is and how they're gonna just blow my minds with all this funny crap. And I mean, I can't tell you, like, I mean, I almost pissed myself one time coming home from work because somebody said on that show, and it was just absolutely hilarious. But what Andrew used to do on that show was he used to provide every episode pop culture references with the cryptid in it. Am I right, Andrew?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that was kind of his job. Was it Ninja Chris that was the one that fought it?
Yeah.
Right?
Because he had a karate experience.
Right.
Yeah.
So Ninja Chris would come up with how can you defeat it in battle. Andrew would do pop culture, and CJ would do lore and mythology, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was absolutely hilarious. So I know that you did the drop bear at some point during your show. Yeah. Do you still have the notes, and can you give us the pop culture stuff?
I do. I don't want to step on too many toes, but I definitely have.
No, go for it.
The old notes for it.
There's no toes for you to step on.
Yeah, I didn't add any pop culture in here. I know that it's in a couple of video games and stuff, but I just,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the most popular video game is Path of Exile, which are actually based out of New Zealand, the developers.
Mm-hmm.
But they actually have, instead of drop bears, plummeting, was it users or USA? URSA? So like
Ursa.
the
Ursa.
Ursa, sorry, the actual name of bears.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of drop bears, plummeting bears.
Okay.
Yeah. The comic books for it, there is Untold Toll of Spider-Gwen, which is like a Spider-Man alternative universe where Gwen Stacy became Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
She actually takes on a koala commander and is trained koala bears, but it's actually not a koala, but more drop bear resemblance of that, like the more traditional koala. Well, not the ones that we have been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
In literature, Winnie the Pooh and Piglet talk about a character called the Jaguar, which is one of the ones that they always have, just like the dancing and the theme music where it's like dark and depressing, where it talks about how it sits in trees and shots out hello, and then when you look up, it drops down onto you.
Hmm.
For like anime, Digimon. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
guys remember that show.
Yeah.
Long time
There
ago.
was a demonic drop bear that was called Fazcomon, because they always end with Mons. That was in their version of a forest in hell, and would basically drop down and paralyze anybody with its claws.
Hmm.
You had tabletop games. One of the more popular ones called Shadowrun, which was based around the idea of magic appearing and then all corporations basically being run by dragons. And so countries don't really exist anymore. Everything was under like, hey, let's roll up to McDonald's. Like United States became McDonald's, right? Russia became Burger King, something like that. So they have drop theirs in there, which are awakened, and they have, which is, we did mention having some type of like rabies or something. In this universe, they have HMHVV2,
Mm-hmm.
which is their version of lycanthropy. Like, so if they bite you, you turn into a werewolf.
Hmm.
So a koala being able to turn you into a werewolf, which is pretty funny. Um, for Harry Potter aspect of it, the Australian Quidditch team is called the Drop Bears.
Oh.
And the actual Australian Museum has a whole page dedicated to drop bears, and they offer members of the staff free immunizations just in case you get infected from getting bit by a drop bear, right?
I love that. I
That's
love that so
hilarious.
much.
Uh,
That's
uh,
amazing.
yeah. And then for TV ads, there is a rum called Bundalenburg, where it was a bunch of male campers talking to female campers, saying like, "No, you should be in your own tent because the drop bears will come. Like, you'd be more secure if you're with us." So they're like, "No, you're not talking the truth." And their mascot is a giant drop bear, so it like falls in onto the female's tent and destroys it, and then so then and then I guess that hawks the room for some reason. I don't know, but like so I just found that pretty funny. I mean, there's other stuff. I don't want to go too deep into it, but like those are like some of the main ones that like people would know.
Right on, man. Appreciate that.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Mm.
I gotta kind of find that commercial.
Yeah, I'll put the name of it. Hopefully, maybe your guy will find it or something.
I will definitely. That would be cool to put on the Facebook page.
I'll add a
Oh,
I'll add a little
I
short clip that I
apologize.
found.
Yeah. Oh, I apologize. It looks like the guy's a polar bear, not a drop bear.
Ah,
Ah,
But it's
ruined
still a bear
everything.
dropping. It's Australians talking to other Australians. A bear dropping, but it's a polar bear. So that was
ah.
my a little bit of a stretch, I'd say, stretching out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much of a stretch as that puka was on that one episode. I can't remember what you guys were talking about, but you had brought the puka up, and I was like, "There's no way." Anyways,
But
I
I like to stretch things. I'm sorry. Yeah.
all right, I'll go first.
No, no, no.
Oh, okay.
All right, go ahead.
All right. I could have predicted that too, by the way.
Well, I got a whole spiel for final thoughts.
Oh, well, go ahead then.
Okay. Yeah, you've just been commandeering this entire episode this whole time. It's crazy.
I'm a
Um,
POS, but that's
you're a real pog, you know that? So, final thoughts. So, with the background of drop bear lore seeming to fit so nicely with the Thylacoleo and a possible crossover to another cryptid, the Warrigal, that inhabits the same location, is it real? Could the Thylacoleo still exist in small numbers in the more rural lands of Australia and be the source of not just fun lore to warn tourists or a boogeyman story for children, but also the cause of another cryptid? And with the FOIA request in 2001, is it more likely that the long overplayed summation of must have been escaped zoo animals is the cause of this phenomenon? Or is it more likely that the black cat sightings have more in common with the long time sighted marsupial lion? One thing we can be sure of: the collective governments of the world are always truthful and would definitely tell us if there was a not so extinct super ambush predator lurking in our own backyards.
facts. We would
Facts.
never be lied to.
Nope.
Not never.
Not never.
Not never. Ugh.
So, Jeremy, I wanted to bring this up real quick. That way that you had us do it with the Thunderbird, right? The different stages and stuff
Mm,
of like, what do we think it is? One is something, two is something, three, four,
mhm.
and stuff like that. Could you bring that out for us so that we can classify this in the same way?
Shit, I don't I don't remember where that is. Um well, okay, so the scale was 1 through 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
5 being it exists and it exists today.
Mm-hmm.
Um 4 being it existed at one point, but maybe it's extinct now or most likely extinct. So 4 extinct. Um, Going back to the other side, 1 is absolutely never. This is completely false. 2 is basically misidentification, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going off of memory here from what we did that one episode. Um, and 3 was I don't remember, so we're just going to call it I'm 50-50 on this. I'm not sure. We'll go with that. I don't remember what it was, dude.
Okay.
Let me look real quick. That was Thunderbird.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was your episode, so I wouldn't even have notes on it.
Okay. Well, it was a good thought. Anyway, Jeremy, what are your final thoughts?
My final thought is that unfortunately, I think that I just the only thing that's keeping me like on the side of it possibly being a 5, and we're talking about the thylacoleo here, not the koala, the rabid koala jumping
Yes.
out of the tree. Um, the only thing keeping me from going from a 4 to a 5, because obviously this thing was extinct, right? It did
Right.
live. Uh, the question is, does it live still?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing keeping me from staying away from 4 is that really awesome description that woman left. The only thing that I'm worried about is, was it misidentification? And with the being able to see all the way back to a mouth and having such a good description of the back teeth,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that this was a thylacine. But then I also looked at basically thylacine teeth, and it's not the same as a thylacoleo.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that this is a 5.
Wow.
Final answer. I think that there's a decent chance at the Thylacoleo still existing. If they do, the population is extremely small because these were predators. These weren't
Mm-hmm.
just your possum that was jumping into your garbage and making you clean up shit every morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was something that was out there killing things and eating them. If people are disappearing in these forested areas of Australia, and there are stories of something called the drop bear that has an uncanny resemblance to the Thylacoleo, there's a decent chance. That description that woman left, I mean, you can't put too much into it, but it was an absolutely fantastic choice by you to choose that one to describe in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Put it all together, I think that, yeah, I think so. I think that the population has to be super small. I think that the thylacine actually has probably a decent population.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we more or less need to find their dens more than anything. And I have an interesting uh, fact, and I'm not going to be able to bring up the source. If I can find the source, I'll put it in the notes in the episode or put it on the Facebook. But I did do a research just a little while ago for something else that I'm not going to put out right now. But most of the cryptids that are being found as of recently have been found in trees. And I
Hmm.
think it's because people are starting to look up. And the problem with researchers is that a lot of times they work on a 2D or a one-dimensional plane, and they just look in front and they look below things.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look up. And when you're talking about places in like the canopies, you're talking about places in like the Amazon, even the ivory-billed woodpecker. All the stuff that's being found is in the trees.
Hmm.
So, do we need to go to Australia and start looking up? Possibly. Could you look up and then get mauled to death? Yes,
Possibly.
possibly. So, again, if I can find that source, I will post it. If not, just think that I'm absolutely stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about, and we'll go on to the next person.
You'll only get mauled to death if you don't use an Australian accent.
But I'll be holding a Foster's, but I'll talk in an American accent, and it'll be confused and won't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Knock
Kenzar.
the beer out of your hand, and then you're powerless.
My turn? Okay. I definitely think that this could be our drop bear, the Thylacleo. Is that how that's said?
Mhm.
I definitely think this could be the drop bear. What it is for me is it's the pelt and like the facial structure of it. It's said to look like a koala, which the Thylacleo has that koala kind of face, but it's also got like the body of like a canine or a cat almost, like that kind of
Yeah.
streamlined feel to it, which can easily, a cat especially, easily climbs a tree, gets up in a tree. They got the massive claws to do so, so why not?
Mm-hmm.
Their teeth are insane. I'm looking at a picture of them all right now. Like these things look scary. They look vicious. And I would not at all be surprised if one of these things just dropped on top of you one day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're still around. I think this has just become tourist lore just to mess with the tourists, because why not, right?
Mm.
But I think it did exist at one point. It's just no longer, it's just a story now.
Okay. Mr. Andrew.
Yes. So I'm gonna agree with both these guys. That I feel like this was definitely um around at a time. Like normally, I am a skeptic at heart. I don't think a lot of these cryptids or other things are real.
Mm-hmm.
But this is there's too much similarities for it not to be. It just I don't know if it has enough food or I mean Australia also had all those forest fires or all
Mm-hmm.
the fires there. So if there were this population there, like wouldn't they have been chased out from some of that stuff?
Could be.
And I mean,
I think that's
is there
actually a very good point. The fires, because if you looking back at it from my perspective, you constantly saw pictures of koalas
Mm-hmm.
and tree animals being pulled out of the fires and saved, given water, given burn treatments, all sorts of things. You would think they'd find one of these things in that process too.
Mm-hmm.
the other thing does Australia have like a lot of ghost towns like America does or like Canada, other stuff like that? Would there be like I so in outside of Chicago, like there is tons of like housing units that are like unfortunately like crack dens, other stuff like that.
Right.
But
They're condemned.
bears, yeah, bears have started been using it as like places to live. So like if man-made structures were there, would these things go into them and use them as homes instead of like using trees and then drop off like a two-story building rather than like a tree? Um,
So it does
but
have
like
some.
yeah,
Mm.
um, I do feel like I don't think that they are. I just unless it's like we haven't gone to the furthest depths, right? We haven't gone
Mm-hmm.
into the rainforest. Definitely Australia because everything there wants to murder you. Like there's not a thing that doesn't want to murder you. So I feel like there has to be some area that we definitely didn't uncover.
Mm-hmm.
Um, thermal satellites, other stuff like that. I'm sure like is not gonna be able to pick up uh detailed images of like animals like that. Um, or unless the government's hiding stuff, which it wouldn't be true at all because that's not a they don't hide things. Um,
Not at all.
yeah, uh, but yeah,
Not never.
Yeah.
if we're gonna use that ranking system, Jeremy said, I feel like I'd probably be like a 2 or 3 for myself.
Fair enough.
Right on. What about you, Jake?
Be bad if I said 1 right now. I think that well, I was at a 5, but given the forest fire thing, which I didn't even think about, that's a huge good point. And let's say that they were alive, but then that forest fire ripped through there, or those forest fires rather ripped through there, and they're not known to be fast runners, so they're probably all dead now. Uh, you know, now they're gone. Um, I'm gonna say 5. I think that it's alive. There's only a few. It's like dang near extinct.
So I'm looking at a map that shows the fires
Mm-hmm.
from last year. And you said that this thing was mostly seen or thought to be seen in the southeast.
Yeah.
The whole country's on fire.
Hmm.
So that was the first thing that popped into my head when Andrew said that. That's a very good point.
Um,
All right, they're all
that's
dead. 4.
no. I mean, you get they're an animal. Animals are
No,
pretty
they're
smart.
all dead.
Koalas are
4.
slow. Okay, they're
Look,
very
no one
slow.
pulled one out of the fire and was just like, "What the heck is this?" They're all dead. 4.
But let's not even get into the whole thing about government cover-ups, because apparently there were corpses of Bigfoot being pulled off of Mount St. Helens that have been covered up for years.
Mm.
When
I
that
heard that one. Yeah.
So let's not dig too deep into that. And there's some pretty solid sources on that. Maybe we'll jump into that. That would be a good topic to talk about too. The
For
Mount
sure.
St. Helens eruption and bat squatch showing up and all that stuff. That would be cool.
It'd be fun.
That would be. I'm sticking with a 5. I think that there's a pretty good chance. I'm between a 4 and a 5, but for the sake of this show and for everyone in the comment sections to tell me I'm an idiot, I'm going with a 5.
All right, I'll stick with you with a 5. I'll hold on tight.
All right.
Cool deal.
That's it.
Yep, that's it. What do y'all think?
I think that was fun. I think that was really cool.
loved that.
Never have I ever tied drop bears and thylacoleos together. That was cool.
Oh, cool deal. Yeah, I thought for sure that you had it. But yeah, I'm surprised that you were sitting here like this has got to be fake. This has got to be fake. Like I'm sitting here thinking like sightings start appearing around April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. Like
I picked up on that.
I did not.
So that was actually one of the very first things I heard when you said that, and I wrote it down here. I have orange color, which I thought was utterly ridiculous at first, and April 1st reports. Why are all the reports happening on April Fool's Day?
Yeah,
Makes me not want to buy into this whatsoever.
Besides that, what things do we know of that have orange colored hair? Geez, nothing.
Kenzar.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Anyways,
and Tigger, and that's about it.
I'm writing on an orange notebook right now.
Yeah.
What I wrote down in my notes was April 1st, orange. Literally right underneath that, I wrote a bunch of bullshit. That's what I wrote. A bunch of bullshit. Did not pick up on April Fool's Day.
And then
of course
there's Andrew, who's just like, he's done all the research. He's like, I don't want to destroy the episode, so I'm not going to say anything. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Andrew.
much. Yeah.
No, but
thank you for having me. I definitely appreciate coming on the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, it was nice seeing you. Nice seeing the beard again.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
Still look majestic.
Thank you.
You are a beautiful creature. You know that?
Yeah. Don't make me blush, man. Don't make me blush.
All right. I know that the last time you guys saw us, which was our first ever appearance on the Paranormal Network, we talked about the Phantom Black Dogs. And we said that we were going to jump into England, the specific lore in England about the Phantom Black Dogs. Fortunately, we had to put that one on the back burner. The guest that we had, our schedules didn't quite line up, so we pushed it just a little bit further back. We'll have that guest on in a couple weeks. Next week, we will jump into part 2 of the Phantom Black Dog series, where I just kind of go over some more basic information that I missed on or I had additional time to do more research into, because I have a series built on these Phantom Black Dogs. It's actually at like 7 parts right now. But you're not going to get them all in a row. That's one thing we don't want to do to you, is just flood you with black dog stuff. So once we have these black dog things recorded, we're going to put them into sporadically, every other week, every 2-3 weeks, something like that. So you're not just listening to black dog lore. That can get a little repetitive, and we understand that. But there is a huge series being built on it, and during that, I found some really awesome additional information. The episode's not going to be too long, probably going to be about an hour, but you guys should definitely enjoy it. That's what you can look forward to here next week on the Infinite Rabbit Hole as part of the Paranormal Network. Does anybody else have anything else to say before we go ahead and sign off?
Yeah, we don't want any of those super long series and stuff talking about the same thing for a month straight.
like we did with Injured Cold.
Who would do that?
I was
4-part series.
Injured Cold.
That was a good series. Stop it. It was awesome.
No, it was good.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. It was just long.
Andrew,
That
thank
wasn't
you
even
so
a
much
part
for
of
joining
it.
us.
Andrew,
Oh, thank you
absolutely.
again. Yeah.
It was awesome.
I was going to say Bigfoot's probably
Lots of
another one of
fun.
those
Lots of
series
fun.
that you
Oh,
may or may not have.
I literally don't talk about Bigfoot on this show because it's not a mystery to me. It is,
Yet it gets brought up every episode.
It is.
Yeah. we don't talk about him.
But I don't do a subject on Bigfoot because it's just
Except for those 5 episodes, right?
Well, when we first started, we needed to sound smart. So we did episodes on Bigfoot. We did the Patterson Gimlin film. We did Bigfoot or Not to Bigfoot. But honestly, it's like, why even do it? I'm waiting for you guys to choose a Bigfoot topic because I can chime in on Bigfoot topics. I'd rather you guys do it.
All right, I'll do the Yowie next then. No biggie. And its connection with the drop bear.
I'm going to go find you. I'm going to go find you a local Sasquatch expert, and I'm going to get that person on just for you, Jeremy.
You should. That would be awesome.
I live in Sasquatch Central, so
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, if there's nothing else to be said, Andrew, one more time, thank you very much for joining us on this episode of The Infinite Rabbit Hole. We have found our new home here at the Paranormal Network. Nice to see you guys. Nice to have my face shown and everybody can see who these dipshits are behind the microphones. Except for Kenzar. Kenzar's not a dipshit.
Thanks.
Unless you want to be.
Thank you. I mean, I'll take the compliment.
All right. Good.
Rough.
Again, we're completely ecstatic about this new opportunity, ready to push forward, ready to get crazy, ready to blow your minds, ready to just talk and talk and talk and talk and have people blow us up on the comment section, hit us up in the Facebook, go to infiniterabbithole@gmail.com, leave us some sort of hate mail or lead us like what Kenzar did was, as our first major fan, said that we were doing a great job and how much she appreciated us and how awesome we were. And we're like, yeah, we know. Anyways, head on over to infiniterabbithole.com, hit that little microphone button in the bottom right hand side, leave us a voicemail. This is what we want you to say. This is so and so. And if you have anything to plug, go ahead and say, I'm from this podcast, or I'm from, I don't know. I
wrote this book.
Yeah.
I make orange notepads, and this is the website you can go to, and you're listening to the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. Do that. We will put you at the beginning of our episodes. If you want to hear some examples, go on over to Mermaids Part 1 and Mermaids Part 2. So far, those are the only 2 episodes with the messages from our fans. We will do it for anybody in the order that we receive them, as long as they are appropriate. They don't say some really dumb stuff. But absolutely go ahead and do that. We are giving this opportunity to everybody and anybody to get their voice out there, to get their products out there, to get their podcast, their Etsy page, whatever you want to do. This is our way of giving things to you. Free advertisement on a platform that a bunch of people or 20 people look at and listen to. It's free. So go do it. And until next time, this has been another Path of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. We will see you next week right here on the Paranormal Network. Jumping back into the Phantom Black Dog phenomenon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.